You have a summary, you list the jobs that you've done, and then underneath the jobs, not just your title and your responsibilities, but what were the core competencies? What were the things that you brought to that job that were really unique and really significant? You want to sell yourself as you describe all of this. So, the job you had, the responsibilities, the things you did best at that job, key accomplishments, the kinds of things that really tell the story of the impact that you had at that job. I think that's very important. Now, often when I have this conversation with people, they might say, you know, I didn't work at an executive level. I'm not a manager. I didn't work at an executive level. I don't have, you know, metrics or key accomplishments. You don't have to have been a vice president to have that. The question you're trying to answer and what you're trying to tell employers about yourself is, what did you do differently at that job? What did you do more of that made a difference? What were the things that you were personally responsible for that helped that company or that organization do its work better? Okay? And if you have done the kind of work where you're able to measure some kind of performance, right? During my time at this job, I was able to grow my client base by 5 new clients every year. Or maybe there's a process that you were responsible for and you cut down the amount of time it took to execute on that process from an hour to 45 minutes. Whatever it is, some demonstrations of the kind of impact that you've had. Just looking at your job title and your responsibilities, that alone isn't enough. Or maybe I would say it a bit differently. That's what everybody does. Everybody says what job they had and what their responsibilities were. If you want to create a competitive edge for yourself, you start to demonstrate the impact that you had at that job, the difference that you made, and how it was measured. It's going to start to set you apart from other people who are looking for work. Okay? Now, because we've just said your resume is meant to be short and is meant to be very concise, maybe you choose just 1 or 2 things to put in the resume. They are all heavily aligned to the job that you're applying for, but that more complete picture about yourself, all of the other things that you've done, you can add all of that to LinkedIn. There are only a couple of areas in LinkedIn where you are limited to a word count, and so you've got to keep within that word count or that character count, but that is the place where you put all of that information. And to the question earlier about, you're applying for jobs that are tailored to one field. In this case, how do you reconcile that against a LinkedIn profile that's more general? Either A, create more than one profile. If you are really looking for very tailored, targeted work in different fields, you could have more than one LinkedIn profile. Or, as I said a moment ago, you just have one and it's more general, and that's okay. I think people, when they're looking at your LinkedIn profile, will understand that that's, will feel and will say that's an all right thing to do. Okay?